Greetings, everyone, and thank you for joining me on this episode. On this podcast, we explore topics of interest at this intersection of public health and entrepreneurship. My name is Dr. Charlotte Huntley, and I'm your host. I'm a public health entrepreneur with over 20 years of experience in both healthcare and public health, and I've supported many entrepreneurs along this journey. I'm excited to bring this episode to you because we all need this type of support. What I'm going to share with you on this particular episode is actually a tip. It's a powerful little tip that we all overlook. But my coach often emphasizes the significance and importance of this as a part of what she calls relationship marketing. So that is really where we are really leveraging our network of friends, colleagues, family, people closest to us that are already invested in our success and they're excited about what we do, and they really are Uber connectors, as she says, and they are ready to bring people to us. Now, some of you are familiar. You may be sort of that connector yourself. When you maybe it's natural for me to think about when I meet someone or I get to know someone and they mention something, I'll think about who I already know in my network, and I will often, have a strong sense about bringing them together. So you kind of, you may do that yourself quite naturally, but your family members are always doing that. Your close friends are, a lot of them are naturally wanting to do that. So if your family and close friends do not understand what you do as an entrepreneur through your business, how you help people, then that's potentially a missed opportunity. Now, this is true regardless. I could be related to the job and career search, right? But we're speaking about this is on public health entrepreneurs. So we're going to focus on this entrepreneurship journey. And I have a story to share with you that really reiterates this. But before I get to the story, I just want to emphasize again this whole concept. So you are familiar with how I'll use some like your aunt or mother or maybe mother-in-law will want to bring you things or recommend things or suggest things for you, right? Sometimes they're kind of off a little bit. Maybe it's about style. Maybe they'll suggest an outfit and it's not quite your style. But then when you have that person that really gets you, maybe like a best friend or sister, and they can just pick up the right outfit, or maybe your mother is like that or your aunt. So, but those people that are they know your style, they really get you, and they can just pick up something and know it's you and just get it for you, and they give it to you, hand it over. It's like, oh, this is a perfect fit, right? Okay, that's what I want you to think about or embrace as you think about this concept of relationship marketing and how it's important for your friends to know what you do and family members to really understand what you do in some context, that they can at least, because they'll be out there talking about what you do and sharing and bragging about you. But if there's a potential to bring or attract your ideal client to you, then that would be a win all the way around the board. If you think about it, if they really don't understand and they're connecting you with the wrong people all the time, it can be aggravating and frustrating and frankly a waste of everybody's time, right? Okay. I think you get the concept, right? I'll bring this up a lot, but there's a story I want to share with you, and this literally just happened. And I thought about this podcast. I thought about how I teach this all the time. Now, people in our group mastermind program get this. Clearly, they get this because they hear it all the time. We go over this all the time. We practice this a lot in these scenarios, but this actually happened. I was at it was a family party. It was for it's like my great nephew. He just graduated from high school, and there was a graduation party at a local restaurant that has like an arcade and a lot of things to do. So it was a lot of activity going on, and there was a lot of family there. So there's family members that I knew that, I've grown up with from the family I was born into. And then there were family members that I didn't know because it was a blended family event. So those of us that were on this one side of the family where we grew up together and we're all familiar with each other, there's like that group. And then there's this other group of family members that were from the family member that was married into the family. So it's like their extended family, their aunt and cousins and uncles that were coming to support my great nephew. But I didn't really know some of them. And so I know you understand the dynamic, but this is important because we're always in these scenarios and situations, especially this time of year. This is summertime as I'm releasing this episode. It's the time we're having cookouts and you're hanging out with family and vacations and things like that, family reunions even. So we were at this party and we played some games and we'd already had food and engaged with some folks, and naturally there were a lot of family members that from the family that was born into that I saw and got to chat and catch up with, and then there were some family members from the other side that I recognized and I chatted with. But as we were getting ready to leave, kind of making our rounds and saying goodbye, I went over to my niece and she was introducing me to her aunts, and there's a whole table with her family that she from the family she was born into. So this is my niece that married my bloodline. So you're following with me, right? So we're having, we're, saying goodbye, but she said, well, let me introduce you to my, I'd met her mother, but her mother's sister, and I'd heard of this relative, but I hadn't met her yet. So she said, let me introduce you. And so she proceeded to start with the introduction. And she says, I want you all to meet my Aunt Charlotte. Now, she's super smart and she has a business, but I really don't get it all, but I know she's an epidemiologist. And then she looked at me for like confirmation that she said it right. And I smiled and I said, "Yep, you got it right." And then the person she was introducing me to was an educator, and we never got into what level of education, well, like if she was on like school, like grade level, or if she was in college. But she said she was an educator. And as soon as my niece went through that, she was able to say, I have my own business and I'm an epidemiologist. And then she said, that's really all I know. The person she was introducing me to, that was the educator, said, oh, I understand epidemiology. And she, gave the example. And then we had a little bit of a conversation. We didn't have a long-winded conversation, but she understood a little bit more, and we chatted for a few minutes, and we said our goodbyes and left. I started thinking about that. On the one hand, I'm really excited that at least my niece had that much down that she could explain, do the introduction and connect me, and then the other person had a little bit of interest and we engaged a little bit. And this is where the magic happens that we often don't think is a big deal. The more of our family that understands and knows what we do, the better we are. So I looked at this as, like I said, I'm happy that she knew that much, because there was a time when I didn't even bother trying to explain to my family anything because I felt like it would just be too complicated. But years ago, I made it a mission to really make sure that I could, for those that were interested as much as possible, I wanted them to understand what I do and how because if they're going to rally up and tell people about what I do, I want them to have a good iteration of it that they could share. And if it led to anything where someone would reach back to me for a potential business opportunity, then that would be a really good, valuable lead coming back my way, a good investment, return on my investment, right, of time and energy to make sure that my family understood. And so there's an opportunity for me to go a little further with her. And this is a family member I could easily follow up with this summer, have lunch with, chat a little bit more, tell her a little bit more about what I do in conversation, because she's genuinely interested. She seems to be very proud. But I want, if I can help her to understand even a little bit more, then she's going to be out there talking about me and talking to other people anyway. Then this could be a great opportunity. Give her the information because she wants to brag and she wants to talk to people and connect. So give her the information and arm her with what she needs to help her understand so that she can have that next level conversation with folks. So I wanted to share that because I do this exercise in our mastermind group program where we create these scenarios and I get you practicing how to respond and what to say, because it's awkward if you don't practice. I know, because I avoided it forever. I didn't want to explain or try to explain and get into that awkward feeling and in awkward space where I'm over complicating it and they're just kind of frowning and like, okay, that's too much. If you've ever been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But on the other hand, I like to be able to make sure that my family members are up to date and understand what I do, so that this could be a great win, because it has. I can give you examples of how this has come back in a very positive way for me through those family and friend connections. But I'll save that for another conversation. I just want to keep it light and simple today because this just happened. And I know that a lot of you are in these kind of situations often. And I think it would be this is a suggestion, but maybe a networking goal for the summer is to connect with, you decide how many friends or family members that you would like to make the goal. But make sure that you connect with them so that they understand what it is that you do, and how you help, and what your ideal client types are so that they can help you. For example, if you work with, like for me, I work with large nonprofit organizations that are serving BIPOC communities. That's our ideal client type. Or it could be a government agency if they are genuinely interested in connecting with BIPOC communities and helping them to share and understand their health information. That's what we do. That's our ideal client type. So if I'm going to have a conversation with family members, I'm going to make sure that they understand that. And then I'll probably tell them a few stories about the type of clients that we work with. And a lot of my family members know that already, but that's really important for you. And it could be a great goal for the summer. Maybe decide, two, maybe one would be your goal, but pick a number of how many people you want to connect with and make sure that they understand. I think it would be more important. Let's say, for example, I would rather one person, one Uber connector type, one really good extrovert, really, conversational family member that loves me and supports me to really understand on a deep level what I do, than to have 4 or 5 that kind of get it. You know what I mean? That's just me, but decide what that looks like for you. That could be a really good summer goal. All right, I'm going to wrap up because I told you I was going to keep this one light. I just want to share that story and share that power tip with you. We have some awesome resources for all entrepreneurs, public health entrepreneurs at different stages of the journey. So if you're just getting started or trying to figure out and you're exploring, we have resources in addition to this podcast. And if you're an established entrepreneur, consultant, any type of entrepreneur, then we have our group mastermind program that I would encourage you to explore and apply if it looks like something that is of interest to you. So from our website, the best way to connect to those resources, our website is publichealthentrepreneurs.com. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can subscribe to our mailing list or subscribe to the podcast updates. And that's how you can find out about all the other resources that we have for those of you at the early stages getting started. If you're established, from our website, go to the mastermind tab on the menu. And there's a whole page that has all the details about our mastermind group program. Read through that. If that looks like it's something that would be a good fit for you, then I invite you to apply, and I will follow up with you and meet with you during the enrollment period. Enrollment is only open 2 times a year, June and December. So during those enrollment periods, or as we get closer to them, I'll reach out to you and connect with you and go over answer any questions you have and see if that's a good fit for you and our program. Okay, I am going to wrap up now just by asking one favor. If you're enjoying these podcast episodes, and I hope that you are, because there's a lot of effort to put these together, especially twice a week. But if you're finding these beneficial, then I will ask you to visit our website or I'll ask you to share our website with a friend or with your network in general. You can create a post on social media, or you can directly send our podcast link or our website link, the publichealthentrepreneurs.com. Send that to a friend in a text or email, or share it with your network. If you're in a group, share it as a resource for those that are interested in learning more about how, what this journey looks like and how to get started and how to expand and grow. We would greatly appreciate it. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a fantastic rest of your day.